Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, the Fusion is live. I think this is going to be the best Fusion champion this whole year. Okay, I've done a guide on him earlier on today, which was literally me playtesting him for the first couple of hours. He's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah, so this is a must pick up Fusion for almost anybody involved if you can get it done. I've had a few messages over the last few days like, I'm a newer player. Can I still do it? Newer players generally will have easier point scoring than people that have been playing for a while. So it might still be possible. I don't really know what your tournaments are going to look like compared to everyone else's. But we're going to go through the Fusion guide now. And I will be dropping extra videos through this Fusion, specifically showing how my free-to-play is getting on. Because hopefully I can kind of help you, just kind of guide you along. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Somebody's cutting down trees and stuff in my garden. So if there's a chainsaw in the background, apologize. I can't do much about that. I wanted to get this video out as soon as I can. So you can see here we've got 12 rares, which are the new rare champion Lone Blade Rehab. And then we've got 4 rares, which are the new Void rare. The Voids become the Void Epic. And then the rares become this dude. It means you need a reasonable amount here. In fact, I've got a bit of a breakdown, which never did earlier today. We're going to need a decent, let me screenshot this, a decent breakdown of pots for Force and for Void. Yeah, so in total, you're going to need 120 lesser Force pots, 108 greater ones, 18 superior ones, and in Void, you're going to need 40 lesser, 36 greater, 6 superior, and the Arcanes, you're going to need 80, 108, 12. All of this will be on the Fusion guide, which is on hellhades.com. I will link that in the pinned comment down below. Okay, so every day we update that guide with what you should be doing today, where you should focus your energy, all that type of stuff. It's really important for this one. Like, this is like, for me, it's definitely a non-skippable Fusion if you want to play this game long term. This dude is nuts. It is possible, of course, to pull the rares through shards as you're doing like the different shard events. And it's possible to pull the epics through shards, but you can never really bank on that because who knows if you're going to get them. But yeah, it's possible to even pull the rares through mystery shards, for example. So you never know your luck, I guess, with that type of stuff. So let's go into it then. Let's go into the breakdown of the Fusion calendar and see what we've got going on here. I guess the first thing that I like to call out, you can see where you can obtain these different rares. And there's not an option to get the Void Epic through any event, but there is an option to get Ambassador Lethalin here as an Epic through the Summon Rush. It will probably mean that you need about 5,000 points worth of shards, and that's going to be quite tough to do, okay? So if you can't do that, you would have to go with picking up every single rare champion in everything. So you'd have to do all of these different events. So we're kicking off today then with Artifact Events, Spider, and Champion Training. They do dip into Dungeon Divers tomorrow. So I would suggest that you hold energy. Perhaps do some Champion Training in the Tavern. Hold your energy until tomorrow. And then kind of double up Spider and Champion Training on Dungeon Divers from tomorrow. Artifact Event as well. You can leave till tomorrow until you start picking up some of that silver for doing these other events. We come into then Classic Arena. That's pretty much just are you active or not to get that done. We then have Dragon Tournament, which also laps into the Dungeon Divers. So you can get your Dragon going here. We come into another Artifact event. You should have earned some good silver from doing the other stuff to do this. Also worth just doing a full cleanse. Worth using the Forge. All of those things I mentioned in my video a few days ago in terms of how to do this Fusion. So then we get to the first big challenge, the Summon Rush. And that's going to be down to, do you have a decent shard count? I'm on my free-to-play here to try and give you a feel. But I didn't do the last Fusion. I've got a pretty decent shard count in 8 Sacreds, 7 Voids, 55 Ancients. And obviously I'm doing Clan Boss on a daily basis now to pick up extra shards as well. I'm trying to push, you know, Doom Tower to pick up shards. I'm trying to push Faction Wars to pick up extra shards where I can. Yeah, I'm kind of keeping an eye on where I am for things like login rewards to see if I got any shards on the horizon. Yeah, I'm looking at my daily quests. Like, am I close to my monthly reset? Well, I'm not, but you might be. Okay, so all those type of things help us. I've also held my energy from anything that's been going on. See, we've got the fusion warm-up here. I held my energy, left it over. Actually, didn't finish it like an idiot, but I've left over the energy to pick up today. Yeah, so I can use that towards like the spider farm and stuff. And also 100% today, this is important. Today, I'm going to buy up. In fact, I'll do it right now. Buying up all of this energy because tomorrow this will reset. We might either get another energy spike or we might get a... this will change into chickens, which is not as useful. So buy up that energy today if you've got the clan gold. If energy is not a problem for you and silver is a problem, then, you know, this might be the difference between you doing the artifact event or not. So you might buy up this as well. For me, this kind of takes precedent over pretty much anything else if you're struggling with silver or energy. It's a really good way to just top up those different areas. So let's get back into the schedule then. So Summon Rush is the first big challenge. If we go by history, generally going to need something like at least 3,000 points even to get the rare, and probably something like 5,000 points to get the epic. Normally quite tough to do. If you can get this epic, it means that you can just miss out on some of these other events. So it's definitely something that's worth pushing for if you're close. You know, even if it means you're blowing all of your mystery shards or, you know, whatever it is. So bear that in mind. We'll then come into the next champion training. And I'm going to talk in terms of champion training. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Because this is generally easier than people think it is to do. We then go Ice Golem, which dips into a bit of a Dungeon Divers here. Also this Dungeon Divers. So just make sure you're overlapping your energy spends in the right play. Third artifact event comes in here. Again, if you're doing all of these things, you should be topping up silver along the way. So you should be fine for that. And it's just about taking stuff up to level 16, really. 16 is where you get your good points. Dungeon Divers, again, here. Dovetails into the Finite Tournament as well. One more arena. And then the final thing is going to be the Champion Chase, which, if you need the extra rare, and it's the Void rare, then you're going to have to... In fact, gaining this epic does not stop you needing to do Champion Chase. I've just spotted it. So all of the voids sitting here, you're going to have to do Champion Chase points for the rare. Okay, just spotted it right at the end as I'm going through this. So getting this epic does not stop you needing the Champion Chase rare. It also does... You're also going to get this Champion Chase rare here because you need the 4 void rares. Okay, that makes it a little bit more tricky, actually. So you're definitely going to have to do the Champion Chase and the Summon Rush. So the only thing you're going to gain if you get the epic from Summon Rush is just not having to do some of the other easier events. So really, this is a bit of a nonsense in a sense, because pretty much you're going to have to do all of the events anyway, unless you get lucky and like pull this void for when you're doing, you know, your Summon Rush pulls. So bear that in mind. We're not really benefiting that hard from getting the Summon Rush epic in this one because of the void pulls that are required here. Bear that in mind. But yeah, they end on the Champion Chase, and that, you know, you can do Champion Chase points with things like any of the kind of fragment summons that you're close to. You know, if you're still doing the fragment summons from the Bazaar, like I've got Drex here waiting to go. If you're doing any of the fusion pieces, like if you've got any of the kind of like champions ready to go here for the next epic or what have you, or for Broadmoor, same sort of thing. You know, are you able to get Broadmoor again? So all of those things will help you on a Champion Chase. Champion Chase is generally a lot easier. Let's have a look and see what the first few events look like that they've dropped for points. This is kind of normal, around 2,200 or so points over 3 days. It sounds like a lot. It is quite a lot, but obviously we've got the energy to use through the day to do it. If you can't farm past stage 16 on Spider specifically, go back and farm stage 10. That's super easy to do. You'll be able to do it pretty much just with Artak, I would have thought, if you've got a decent built one. So this should be quite doable. It does use up a lot of energy. You will find you're using gems and stuff. But also don't forget, this is over 3 days. You don't need to do it all on day one. A lot of people just think, oh, I've got to do it day one. And you end up burning loads of resources you don't need to burn. Spread your time out. Champion training here. Where's this one sitting? 7,150. Again, I've seen it way worse than this. It's still a lot of points, but you can earn points very quickly. And is this the one where you get points for books as well? Level them up, upgrade their ranks. No, so the champion training event, you just get points for leveling and taking someone to 6-star. But for the champion training tournament, which drops here, which is going to be next week, you actually get points for using things like books and stuff as well. So don't do any, I guess it's up to you. Like tomorrow's Clan v Clan, it might be that you don't use any of your books like you normally would through Clan v Clan, and you hold it for next week to make this champion training tournament easier. But ultimately, you know, in terms of the champion training stuff, I'll link a video at the end of this which shows you a really detailed way of doing it. But ultimately, this is generally quite easy. So you're taking your 1-star, you're putting 3 other 1-stars in and 1 brew, gets them to 2-star, upgrade their rank, bam. The 2-stars, some people do this, some people don't, but you can put 1 brew into a 2-star and take them up to level 10 before you then feed them into one that's ready to go. So if I had a 2-star that I actually want to take up, max him out, I would then use this level 10 within this to feed. Okay, so you do the same sort of thing here. If you've got a 3-star and you're just going to use this one as food, you throw a couple of brews into them, gets them to level 15, you get points on your champion training, and you move on. So a lot of work can be done in the tavern. You can do the same type of work in campaign, which will also be topping up your silver count and all that type of stuff as well. So as I say, like, you don't have to do everything on day one, but I'll link that video so it's going to help you get through this fusion. And I will be updating on my free-to-play here, how I'm getting on, the type of things I'm focusing on over the next couple of weeks to try and help you guys get through it as the different events drop. I think it's going to be pretty achievable, but it looks like you're going to have to go after all 16 of the events, the way they've kind of, you know, put it out there, which means you've got to be pretty active for the next 2 weeks if you want to get this dude. As I say, I've done the guide on him. I think he's absolutely god tier. I've put him as a 5 out of 5 on the website. I think there's only like 10 champions that I've done that for in terms of like every champion in the game. So bear that in mind when you're making decisions. But there you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you later.